Good evening, Philippines. Good evening, PSME. Welcome to the second episode of the Wheels of Progress podcast, the podcast for mechanical engineers. I'm Bonnie Digala, and tonight we're talking about the topic on discipline for mechanical engineers. Now, it's time to welcome our special guest for this episode. And by the way, this is the second episode of our Wells of Progress podcast. Our special guest for tonight is Engineer Cezar M. Bordon. Engineer Bordon is a Filipino mechanical engineer who trained and worked in the US for most of his working life. He is also a former member of the PSME Panay Board of Directors. He is also an entrepreneur, which means he provides employment for people. And today's episode is brought to you by House of Ecolife, Iloilo Roastery plus Cafe. Really good coffee at an affordable price. Freshly roasted, freshly ground. They have a cafe at Haro, Iloilo City. And also, this episode is also brought to you by the Iloilo New Agri Industrial Marketing and General Services Incorporated, which has an office and a shop at the located at Lawaan Village, Barangay Balantang, Haro, Iloilo City. As we all know, discipline is very important for us, and we became engineers because of discipline. And I would like to quote Mr. Jim Rohn. He said that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Even Abraham Lincoln, the former president of the United States of America, also has a quote on discipline. And he said that discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. So, and tonight we'll be talking more about discipline from the experience of our guest for tonight. And again, let us all welcome our very own engineer Cezar M. Bordon. Sir, good evening.
Hi, good evening, guys. How are you doing? Nice to meet you again, and to all our PSME all over the country and maybe overseas. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And aside from what I mentioned, sir, can you please tell us more about yourself, what you're doing now, or yeah?
And yes, I will let you know. Yeah, I will introduce myself before I start my topic. That way, you guys will know who am I, and we'll get acquainted with. See, the more you know me, the more you will listen, and of course,
yeah,
the respect is in there. Whom they are listening to. They want to know who I am, of course. Right?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, to start everything, once again, I introduce myself, Cezar Bordon. I really hate to say my engineer, but it's a prefix that we usually don't use that in the United States. You don't even know an attorney that's already standing. Yeah, they're already standing defending somebody, but you realize, oh, Giuliani is an attorney. They never put their attorney before their name, because in America, the only people that we recognize and they put their prefix is either a doctor or a PhD. Besides that, engineer, architect, attorney, no. So that's the one that to start with. That is in the U.S. way of doing things. Okay, I'm just trying to impose this, or let you guys know how we do, because most of them, just like what you told them before, is that most of my working life I work in the United States.
Okay.
So anyway, to continue my opening remarks. And recently, I live here in Haro, Iloilo City.
Okay.
I graduated my BSME in Technological Institute of the Philippines in Manila uh, in 1980. And then after that, I worked in Negros Navigation in their maintenance department. And before we migrated in United States in 1984. Going to the United States is not that easy.
Mhm.
You have a lot of competition out there. And I was unemployed for 6 months until I decided to join the Navy. I joined the Navy not because it's a military. I joined the Navy because I want to explore the world, adventure. So,
So you were with the U.S. Navy, sir?
yes, I worked in the U.S. Navy as soon as 6 months after I reached the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I passed, they have a test they call the ASVAB test. ASVAB is just like an entrance test when you take like PMA here in the Philippines and stuff like that. It's a qualification test to let them know what skills you're gonna be if you will be hired in the United States Navy. Like an aptitude test, comprehensive, mechanical, whatever skills that you can be highest on your score, then they will put you on that skills. So for me, I think I scored highest on my mechanical knowledge. So that's why, because I have a background in mechanical engineering, of course, that's where the highest I was.
Mhm.
So the Navy or the military made the choices to put me in aviation as a structural mechanic. That
Oh,
is an enlisted. That is an enlisted work. It's not an officer.
okay.
Since because our degrees in the United States are not recognized, they didn't recognize
Oh.
they didn't recognize our degrees in there. So
Why, sir? Why? I'm just curious. Why is it? Why did
because
they recognize?
I think this is what happened when I have my transcript of records evaluated. They have a lot of especially our major subjects like
Mhm.
kinetics, algebra. They have different. That is the head supposed to fix. The description of each our subjects is different on the description in the United States. Even though they said algebra, algebra is
Okay.
algebra, right? But
Mhm.
when you put the description on prospectus, because prospectus, remember, that's the one that the description of a subject is listed. So they
Mhm.
compare that to the description in the United States. It doesn't match at all. So I said
Mm.
no, we will
Okay.
not honor this. So that's the physics. Physics is physics, but still, one
Mm.
again, it's not the same.
So there
So
there were many obstacles, sir. There were many obstacles before you were able to enter the U.S. Navy. So despite of all
actually,
these obstacles, like your license, so to say, is not they do not recognize it. So how did you make it to enter the Navy of one of the most powerful nations of the world?
actually, they accepted my degree as a high school graduate. So high
Okay.
school graduate is the minimum requirements to join the military in there. So that's the reason why I get in because they honor my my transcript as a high school graduate.
Okay.
So to make the story short, I put in 20 years in the U.S. Navy.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
20
retired.
years.
Yeah, I retired in 2004 as a chief PT officer.
Chief,
Yeah,
sir, chief.
yeah, chief PT officer.
Wow. What's about it, sir?
Now what's that?
What's about that role the that you retired from the role or the responsibility of that chief?
Oh, the responsibility is that is leadership roles. You lead the people, you manage the people, and You train the people.
Even Americans, sir,
Yeah,
they
everything.
were under you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Wow.
So yeah, so number one, I wasn't able to tell you this previously, that when I arrived in the United States, it's a really a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Number one is communication skills.
Okay.
Our English is way different than the English over there. I was
Okay.
so embarrassed when I was in the boot camp. Was embarrassed by the especially black guys.
Mm,
They could understand our English. So this is what he said.
that's
Do you want
interesting.
me? Because when they talked to me, I said, what? I could not get it right away. So this is what he told me. He said, do you want me to write everything every time I tell you to do? So that's very embarrassing. But
Okay.
I didn't say anything. And because I could not even express myself to talk back, because just imagine this. When you talk, you put that first in your dialect, Longo, and then you
Okay.
put it on Tagalog, and then you put it
Okay.
on English. So the process is a little bit, it's a little bit longer than when you tell them,
Mm,
our English again, the way we form our English is different from the English over there.
mhm.
So that's number one problem that I got before is communication skills.
Okay. So how did you uh, discipline yourself, sir, to learn their language? And
Yeah, the discipline that I did is just like I will try my best to study and practice.
okay.
Practice makes it perfect. So
Mhm.
it's a self improvement, because you are there now. You are really obliged to speak their language,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
that's what happened. Well,
Mm,
okay, as I go along here, uh, while I was in the Navy,
okay.
they have a program that you can go back to school if you
Mm-hmm.
want.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back to school. So I enrolled in Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering, supposed to be. But
Okay.
because of my experience in the aviation, they gave me this Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics. That's like
Okay.
us here, professional mechanical engineers and stuff like that. But over there, it's a degree. It's not
Okay.
another thing that you have to put in just to get a professional.
Okay.
So it's a process through your experience in your previous work.
So do you mean, sir, it's like a something that is higher than the aeronautical engineering, the
Yes,
professional?
because
Oh wow.
professional. Yes, we are
Okay. So
professional.
it's like the equivalent of PME here
Yes, that's
for
PME.
aeronautical engineers,
Just like
for
that.
PME for mechanical engineers,
Yeah,
uh,
for
like
mechanical.
the professional for the aeronautical engineers, like that. So it's
That's like that.
higher. Wow.
Yes, higher. Yeah, because of your experience.
That's a big achievement, sir. Like you're a
Yes.
PME there for aeronautical engineers.
Mhm. So
Mhm.
that is given to me by Engr Aeronautical Engineering in
Wow.
Daytona Beach, Florida. That
Okay.
was also at the same time when I retired in the U.S. Navy in 2004. So basically, because I could not enroll full time because I have a job also in the military. So I
Okay.
have to, this is only on my spare time. So it took me a
Wow.
little bit longer to finish. But it's a hard
Okay.
work. Just like what I told you, you get off work at 5 o'clock. From 5 o'clock
Okay.
to 9:30 at night, you go to school. So that's another extra effort. You
Oh,
do
so
not. You do not.
there was a need for discipline really there for
Yeah,
time
that's a
management.
discipline also. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's
Okay.
another self-discipline for myself, because I have the goal to to have another degree that can
Okay.
compete when I retired in the military.
And you had a family already, sir, right? That time?
Oh, yes, I was married in 1985.
Wow.
Yeah, to my wife right now. Yeah, I was married there. So while I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Japan,
Okay.
aboard the USS Midway, CV
Ah,
41.
midway. Okay.
Yeah, that's the oldest ship that's survived the World War II, like the
Wow.
USS Saratoga. Did you hear about that?
Okay.
Yeah, so I was exposed here in the Pacific for a while, like in Singapore, uh,
Oh.
uh, Hong Kong,
Okay.
Brunei, Malaysia, and stuff like that. Basically all the way to the Gulf, like Dubai,
Okay.
everything's what. So that's why I know the culture in there. I can speak up the difference between our culture, the Philippines,
Mm,
and how our economic are as compared
okay.
to this country besides us.
Okay.
So
So you were able to finish your study, sir?
yes, I graduate. Yeah, just like what I told you, I graduated in 2004 at the same time when I retire after I retired in the Navy. So after
Oh.
that, because of my skills, I was hired right away with Boeing companies.
Oh, so you also work
Yeah,
for Boeing, sir, aside from the US
yes.
Navy.
So yeah, because in the US, as long as you can still work, they don't care about your work. You have retired in the military. No,
Mm,
they prefer the military because the military has more discipline. They go on time. They follow
okay.
rules. Everything.
Okay.
The discipline is already been marked as a number one that they will hire you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it means that once you finish that 20 years, you know how to follow instruction, right? Because you did not get in trouble. So the discipline is in there also.
Okay.
So I work as a when I work as a civilian, I work in a companies where it contract like flight control surfaces, the flap, the slats. I don't know if you guys aware or knows the parts of the airplane. The fuselage, light control surfaces, the actuators, the hydraulic system,
Mm-hmm.
the, the mechanical linkages, air conditioning. There's a lot of
Okay.
work as in mechanical engineering in the airplane, but I don't know. I never see or never heard a mechanical engineer that works in the airplane. Airplane, man, there's a lot of
Mm,
work for mechanical engineers in there. The system itself, the engines. Wow, that's our job.
yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, it's not because you think we think that the aeronautical engineer is the one who taking care of it. We are better than aeronautical engineer. We differ for mechanical than aeronautical.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
before we proceed, sir, can we greet some of those who are watching us?
Oh,
The
sure. Yeah.
comments
Yeah.
in the comment section. Good evening. Sir Jeriel Militar is sending his greetings.
Oh,
Good
wow.
evening,
Hi, Jeriel.
Engineer
How are you doing,
Engineer
bud?
Bonnie and Engineer Cezar Bordon. So we are happy that the president of PSME Panay is here with us in Facebook Live. Hello, Sir Jeriel. Good evening to you and to your family. Engineer Giho Sinoy is also watching.
Okay.
Engineer Lad Tejada I would like to greet us. Good evening. And also, Engineer Elimar Llanera Baciano, good evening. Engineer Papao Erio is also watching with us. And Engineer Jonal Galvez Sioting, good evening. Shout out kay Engineer Glenn Saldivia and Engineer Eden Casiple. One of, I think Engineer Lad Tejada is also a lady together with Engineer Eden Casiple, who is also watching us. Sir Cesar, you might want to have
Yeah.
some words
Thank you
with
guys for
our,
watching us and good evening.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Are we
okay.
gonna move on?
Yes, sir. So you worked for the U.S. Navy while at the same
Mhm.
time uh, studying part time
Yes, it's not full
for
time yet.
like
So
aeronautical engineering, but you were given the professional level of
aeronautics, yeah.
aeronautics engineering, equivalent to the
Mhm.
PME here in the Philippines for mechanical engineers. Did
Yes.
I get it right, sir? Like that. And you work for Boeing, one of the best
Yes.
airplane builders in the world. They used
In the world, that's right. Mhm.
to build warplanes, sir, initially, right?
Yes,
Boeing.
I am part of it too. I'm part of that
Oh,
building. Yes. Yep. And they are located in Everett, Washington, where I live.
Oh, wow. I
Everett,
can remember, sir,
Washington.
one of the case studies before in the graduate school that they have a very big bigger than several football fields. the
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you have to you have
buildings.
to go see it yourself. You have to go there and see
Wow.
it yourself. It's huge, guy. It's huge. Just
Okay.
imagine
So
you
yeah.
you put an airplane in there. You know
Mhm.
how the wingspan is? That's a big one. Right now, we are not building anymore 747 because it's already
Oh,
obsolete. We
okay.
are focused on 777, 787. 737 is the biggest, hot cake airplane in
Mm.
the world from the Boeing right now. We build the 737 in a month, one airplane
Wow.
a month. Just think about that. How can, if you don't have any idea how the Boeing is building this, that's really amazing, right? How can you do that in a month, one airplane? Just think
Mhm.
about, there's a lot of control surfaces in there. You know, the
Okay.
fuselage, just imagine the fuselage just to rivet all those things from the nose all the way to the back, right? But this is, I'm gonna tell you how the process for that. We have a contractor, Boeing have a contractor, there's a lot of subcontractors in the area that we have assigned, let's see, the tail section. It's built by this group. Actually, you know, the tail section is built by Australia. The wing section is built by in UK. The fuselage is built locally. The fuselage itself, you know, the tube,
Yeah.
you know, mhm. And the engine is made by General Electric.
Oh.
See, as soon as those company are done, they will bring that over to the place and assemble it. You can see that if you go to the Boeing site, you can see how they assemble that so goddamn quick.
Wow.
Boom, 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 because everything is crane. There's a crane inside there that they will move all the big spot and put it together, and then rivet that thing, bolt that thing. Everything will be joined together, and then here comes
Wow.
the last one is
Amazing.
paint. Yeah, very
Amazing
amazing. If you go
processor.
there and go for a tour, you will be amazed with how they build the airplane. It's really
Wow.
very amazing.
How
Yeah.
I wish we can still have
And now,
some of your time in the future to have another episode for the just the Boeing
yeah,
processor that
I
maybe
will go. I will
we can
ask my
be that
friend.
what we can learn from the principles there that they do that they apply in order to have a error free.
Airplane, and I will show that to you in YouTube and pass it me. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's gonna be when you
So
work in
one time, sir,
do it the first time.
yeah, if it would be okay with you, we will schedule in the near future another episode for the Boeing process, the experience
Yeah,
that you did
yeah,
there, sir. Okay.
yeah.
So
That's really
so
great. You
so
know,
in
I
all
felt.
this, sir, the best in the world, the most powerful nation in the world. You work with the U.S. Navy, and then the
Yeah,
best. If one of the I think it's the best. It's the best. Boeing is
yeah.
the best
Actually, this is what
plane
happened right now.
manufacturer.
This is
Mhm.
what happened right now. The you know the business of airplane is a little bit uh, complicated because of the Airbus. You hear about Airbus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the Airbus took at least 40% of that business out from Boeing right now. So
Oh,
that means the product of Boeing is about 60% right now. They don't rule the aviation right now because of Airbus. But
okay.
anyway, that's a competition. That's a part of the business. They have to
Mhm.
make good that way they can go back again to where they came from. Right?
Wow.
So it's a matter of competition. But you know, in every business, there's always a competition,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
just do the right thing, and you're good to go,
Amazing,
right? So
amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
in all this, sir, these are silent accomplishments that you have. We never knew about them. Right? But now we are now informed about it. So in all these
yeah,
big accomplishments, because you work with the best in the world. So how did discipline
yeah.
play a role in all these accomplishments that you have?
Just being a military itself is already a discipline in there. So anyway, yeah. Besides working on in Boeing, uh, working in flight control, also with the composites. The 777 is made of composites, right? You hear
Okay.
about that? Our 777 that when they getting ready to fly, they bend up at least 20%. That's a composite part of the airplane. It's the
Okay.
the whole wing. Yeah, so it bends up. The reason for that bends up to prevent drag. And also,
Okay.
have you noticed that one on the very tip that goes up, the
Mhm.
wing tip? Remember that wing tip that you can see? There's a tip right there that goes up instead of going straight.
Mhm.
Okay, that's also uh, we use that also to prevent the drag too and to conserve gas
Mhm.
because remember did you see the bird when they fly? You see their wing,
Okay.
the back part, it goes up, so that's why they can glide easy. So that's
Okay.
that theory also that Boeing has to get up from the plane from the bird.
Wow. That's why
Everything, everything.
I'm convinced, sir. I'm really convinced that we need to to schedule another episode for that very interesting Boeing
Yeah,
facts. And
yeah.
so
Just like just,
yes, sir.
what is that?
So what in order for us to achieve the things that you achieve, like there are many of us here, the younger ones of our society of mechanical engineers who are watching. And of course, as what I mentioned earlier before we went live, that some of our JPSME members, the Junior Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers, are also watching the recorded episodes of this podcast in YouTube. So what can you advise, sir? How can we better develop discipline? Is it really necessary nowadays? Yeah.
Yeah, before you can excel, of course, you have self discipline. Okay, you cannot be out there without any discipline because especially working on the plane is very very dangerous to work. Unlike the cars, that once you break down, all you got to do is to pull over the side. The plane, either
Okay.
you die or you crash. Okay, you cannot pull along the side and say, "Oh, we have a trouble in the engine." No, this one here, once you sign airworthy on the plane, that means that plane can reach from point A to point B. So it's a matter of trust and integrity to the person, which is includes also the discipline. That's a
Okay.
part of it because
Okay.
you cannot be trusted if you don't have any discipline to yourself.
Mhm.
Everything reflects as to what you do. People are
Mhm.
watching you. If you
Okay.
that's what the integrity means, right? You do the right thing even though nobody's watching. That's integrity, right?
Wow. Yes. Yes.
So that's what we do in our job, especially in the plane. That's why the airplane industry is very strict on safety.
Okay.
You cannot beat the safety of aviation.
Okay.
Safety here in the shore or in the land, it's okay. But on plane, no, it's not okay. Even a drip of oil on the
Okay.
drum, it's a violation in accordance with ecology and environmental.
Wow.
You need to have a confinement, a second confinement on every drums that you have. Is hazardous materials.
Okay.
So it's a matter of discipline to these people that they will do the right thing
Mhm.
because the company is paying unnecessary money just to pay the violation that because of your neglect, your
Okay.
irresponsibility,
Mhm.
because you don't care.
Okay.
So that's what the discipline is always come into presence every
So
time you do whatever you
integrity,
do on the
so
job.
discipline, sir, goes hand in hand also with integrity.
Oh yeah, they are related to each other. I think they're brothers. But anyway, I'm
And
just joking.
yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
I noticed before, sir, when we were together in PSME, when you were still a member of the board of director, I can remember that you just you I mean the nomination, you did not accept the nomination because you were going back to the US at that time, so that's why you were not re-elected because you declined from the nomination. So but when we were the whole year
That's right.
of that, when we were working together in PSME Panay, I noticed you're giving such importance to time and punctuality, sir. Can you share
Oh
uh,
yeah, punctuality.
something
Yeah.
about it? For especially for Filipino mechanical engineers, not just for for engineers, but also for all
But
Filipinos.
sometimes yeah, Bonnie. Sometimes our leadership sometimes fails. Even though there's somebody already telling that, nobody pay attention to that. So
Okay.
nothing happened. So if somebody's complaining, that's what we do in America. If somebody complains, they put a point right there. Oh, somebody complains this. We will check, investigate, right?
Mhm.
They do something and
Okay.
take action right away. Not like here. Did you see the highways that we have? It's already done, but their barricade's still there. You know,
Mhm.
it's kind of unsafe. It's very safety, but it's a safety violation. It's very unsafe. If you don't have on your car, if you don't have any early warning device in your car, that your car is not even broke or something like defective, you need to have one in your car, right? And if you don't, you have in violation. But did you
Mhm.
see those people that in the road? Have you seen early warning in the streets that they have this construction going on? No. See, it's very slack. That's because of our leadership. Lack of
Mhm.
consistency.
Okay.
They know that it's not right, but they don't impose it. But when they impose only for that day. And then the rest of the years, there's no action anymore. So the people will say, oh, it's okay now. We can do it again. We can park right here or whatever we do because nobody's telling us it is not right to park here or something like that. That's a discipline again. We don't have any
So aside
discipline
from
to ourselves.
integrity, sir, also another element of discipline that you mentioned is
Yeah.
consistency. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Consistency that when you impose the
consistency.
rule, you
Mhm.
impose that consistency until the people will learn. Oh, no, this is not right because every time I go here, I am violation. I have a ticket. So
Yeah.
frequently, that if you have a ticket, you're tired of it, right? So then you follow. That's like when you are young. When I don't know during my time because I'm a little bit older. My nanay man. If
Mhm.
I make a mistake, hanot. This spunk me right away. You don't tell me because you know what? Spunking is easiest to communicate the person. Once they get hurt, they will not do it again. That thing hurts. But when you tell them, they will listen to this and will go out to the other side and they will do the same because there's nothing happening. All they can do is hide or maybe go just to get away from their nanay telling them that this is what you're gonna do. Unlike
Mm.
before, man, during my time, I know this is like before I encountered this even myself in when I was in the USA. Because as a Filipino, of course, we want our children to be good, right? We want them to go to school. We
Mhm.
want them to wake up early in the morning because they have
Mhm.
school. So we spank them or maybe scream them, right? And then here comes the CPS or Child Protection Services over there. They will tell you that it's not right to do that. You cannot spank your kids. You cannot touch your kids at all. That's it.
Mhm.
All you gotta do is tell them. So that is sometimes that is wrong. But sometimes it depends. Just like when I say discipline, it depends to how you discipline your kids. If you call it discipline that when you get home you're drunk and then you see your kids playing there and then you spunk them right or you kick them, that's abuse. I can support you for that. That's really
Mhm.
abuse. But for no reason, right? That your kid just sitting down there and then you spunk them or maybe hit them right away without any reason, then that's
Mhm.
really an abuse. But if you
Mm.
are touching them because you're trying to tell them, hey, you study because you know you're slacking, your grades is getting low, you have to study. You cannot be doing like this. Then you spank them, after that, they will run away and go to their room and study, right? Because they don't want to be hit
So,
again.
so aside
So
from
it's
the two,
another way of
aside from the two elements that you mentioned earlier, sir, that is very related to discipline, which is integrity and consistency. Now you are also emphasizing the importance of like a memorable correction. Correction
That's
is
right. Yeah, that's. I think I can accept that. Yeah, memorable or maybe a painful correction, if you will.
painful.
Sometimes
That's why it's memorable.
painful correction.
Okay. So
Sometimes the kids that's why it's painful, right? Because you
yeah,
have something in your hands. You're trying to hit them and their butt or on behind, right? They're trying to block it. So what happens?
okay,
Sometimes you leave a bruise on their arm, right?
okay.
So it's accidental because
Mhm.
of course, when you leave bruise to your kids, of course, it's really it's really improper now because it's sometimes kind of abuse. But the
Mm,
situation, they don't know the situation.
mm.
You're trying to hit your kid on the back, in the back, but they're trying to block it. So what you need to do once you you release that, it's already too late. So whatever the thing goes to, it will mark, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's accident. So just like what I said, it depends to both.
Mhm.
It depends to two kinds of discipline. It's abuse or a discipline.
Yeah. So
Abuse is too much, right?
okay.
That's a different discipline. I think I will
Yeah.
not call that discipline.
So we call it
Yeah. So
memorable correction, sir. Painful correction. Yeah. But
mhm.
you explain it to them.
Painful correction.
You explain it
Oh
to them,
yeah,
sir, why
explain
you did it.
before you do that. Before you do that, of course, you have multiple reminders to them already, and you give them warning, right? You cannot just
Mm,
like hit them without any warning. Of course not, right? You
mm,
tell them before, oh, I told you that last night that you have to study. See, they already have a heads up before then, right?
mm.
And then
Yeah.
when you hit them, they cannot complain anymore because it's their mistake. It's their fault because
Can you
they're
share with us,
hard-headed.
sir?
They're not listening.
Can you share with
That
us
which
some
one?
of the memorable corrections that you had when you were working in the US Navy or Boeing?
Okay,
Because yeah, do you have
I
some
will,
memorable experiences or anecdotes that happened to you?
I will have one. I will have one kind of funny situation, but includes a discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when the Navy hired
Mm-hmm.
people, it usually came up to the as long as they are 18.
Okay.
Join they joined the military, right? And then we sent them to boot camp.
Mm.
Man, they don't know how to march. When they march together with arm like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we try to discipline them, right? We will ask them, hey, give me 10 push-ups, right?
Oh.
So they do the push-up thing. And then they will do it again, and then they will march again. And then once their march is not perfect, we will pull them out from the rank, right? And then teach
Mm.
them individually how to march. And
Okay.
then if they keep uh, making mistakes, we hit them with a stick. This is wrong. This one here. So he have to interchange that because he stepped the wrong leg. So it's a
Mm.
matter. That's a part of a discipline also when you are military.
Okay.
That's a discipline. Actually, they're trying to discipline you to get your mind out from civilian because civilian you are free to do whatever you do. So
Mm.
converting you from civilian to a military it requires discipline,
Okay.
and discipline is punishment. We give them punishment just like that.
Wow.
You run 2 rounds because you make a mistake. Because if you don't like that, you will not make mistakes again because it's hard. You will
Mm.
run
So meaning, sir,
two
the
rounds.
the scenes that we normally see in the movies when we watch American movies and like training Navy SEALs like that. So they are real, sir, in the real world.
Oh, This one here,
The
okay.
difficulties,
Since you talk about that,
the mud swims.
since you talk about that, okay, in the military, there's one elite and there's one maintenance administration. We have a lot of people.
Okay.
We have a lot of skills. We separate our skills the way, just like what I told you on our ASVAB test tells us.
Mm,
You know, the test, the very test that we have. So if you have the skills of diving, boom,
mm.
you know how to dive, and you can swim this much far. Maybe you can be a SEAL. Then they will
Oh,
put you on that
wow.
SEAL.
Wow.
Our SEAL is the elite group in the Navy.
Okay.
That is even more than the Green Beret, whatever
Oh.
you have there. The most elite military in the U.S. is the
Mm,
the SEAL, the Navy SEAL,
okay.
because they are
Mm,
trained water, air, and also in plane.
mm,
So unlike the Green Beret, they only good in jungle war. Navy
mm.
SEAL is also good in jungle war. So
Wow.
they are just like versatile. They
Mm,
can do whatever, all 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 uh, all climates or all weather. They can do
wow.
everything. So that's why they are elite.
Mhm,
That's how we classified ourselves. That's why as an aviation, we don't deal with those war. We
mhm.
fight our war away from our enemy. We are in the aircraft carrier. We send our big guns and
Yes.
and airplanes to the enemy.
Wow.
So we are far
Amazing.
away from. For them, they penetrate the enemy. So they
Yeah.
have more discipline. Well, actually, all of us have discipline, but
Mm,
they are more disciplined because they will be a buddy system. They are
mm,
more than friends. They are they are one. I think they are one because
mm.
one kill to their group is a kill for everybody. They don't like that. So when
Okay.
they get their eight, when they get to the point eight, they need to get out eight also. So that's their goal. I mean, that's their motto in their team. When they
Wow.
get eight, when
You mean, sir, that
when,
when speaking about discipline, teamwork is also important.
oh, that's a part of it. Yeah,
Mm,
that's a part of it. Teamwork and listen, follow instruction, follow your leader. That's a part of your discipline.
wow.
So yeah,
Siguro, sir, one last thing, one from us. I mean, like, can you share with us what you learned? Because we have a different culture from the culture of the Americans. What have you learned from them when it comes to this is still part of discipline, I think, when it comes to time management, time.
okay. Yeah, when it comes to time management,
Yes,
is
sir.
really
Yeah.
we are very different. Number one is we are not on time. Number one, we are not on time.
Mm,
Number two, we have lack of discipline.
mhm.
We have an attitude of don't care attitude, because if we think we have this, you have power. You know,
Mm,
the third world country, money is power, influence,
mm,
politics, connections. That's the difference. Over there, we don't have. We if we got stopped by the police, we don't call. Hey, my friend, General, I will call him. Hey,
mm,
guy, hey, General, I got ticket right here. No, you cannot do
mm,
that, or else that
mm.
general will be embarrassed also, because the police will really embarrass them to give them a ticket, because that's
Mhm.
corruption.
Okay.
So yeah,
Wow.
over there, I don't know. I don't know really the Filipino. Okay, I don't understand this.
Mm,
Filipinos, I will talk to Filipinos because we are talking about Filipinos.
yeah.
Why, if we are in other countries, we follow the rules. We are the law, a goddamn abiding citizen over there. But when we go back here to our country, man, it seems like we own the goddamn Philippines.
Mm,
We don't care about the law. We are the law. If we have money, we are the law. No, that's the one that I hate. I really hate that.
Okay.
And we are also number one profilers.
Mm.
We discriminate our own.
Mm.
See, that's lack of discipline right there.
Mm.
That's just imagine that. Yeah, just
Okay.
imagine that
So,
thing.
how about Sir Kwan? How did you manage your time? I mean,
My
busy,
time
busy.
is just like what I said. I
Because
I
yeah,
organize my time.
honestly, personally, I have difficulty doing that because sometimes I I I lose my focus or so many things to jumping from one
Okay,
task to another. So in your case, sir, because you're able to juggle on many things,
okay,
and you were working for the best in the world, for the best in the
okay.
world. So how did you
I will
manage your
share you
time and
this.
all that? Yeah.
Okay, I will share you this first. This is what I got from from my research on the web. Of course, we want to tell our listener right now that what is the meaning of discipline, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, discipline is a practice. Discipline is a practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct the audience. See,
Mm.
that's one of the discipline. In the discipline, you need to have self-control,
Mm.
right? This is an action or inaction that is regulated to be in accordance or to achieve accord with the particular system of governance. Now, this is the case right here. This is like a scenario that I want to share. You have to ask yourself, what is the meaning of discipline? What is really a discipline? What discipline means to you? Besides waking up early, and how do I employ in all the aspects of my life? What is that really mean? This is what I'm gonna tell you. Yes, discipline, it does start by waking up early. It really does. But that is just the beginning. And I always say that discipline is the loop of all good qualities. But you have to be absolutely apply it to things outside of just waking up early. It's everything. It's working out every day, making yourself stronger and faster and more flexible and healthier. Discipline is eating the right foods to fuel your system. It's about disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It's about having a discipline to control your ego so your ego doesn't get out of hand and control you. It is about treating people the way you would want to be treated and doing the tasks that you don't necessarily want to do, but you know will help you or your team. It's also about facing your fears so you can conquer them. That's what discipline is. Discipline means taking hard road, the uphill road, to do what is right for yourself and for the other people. Is to open up an easy path, the easy path that calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment, and give him the desire and short-term gratification. But the discipline will not allow that. The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will not accept weakness. It will not tolerate another breakdown. The discipline can seem like it's your worst enemy, but the reality is discipline is your best friend.
Mm.
It will take care of you like nothing else can and will put you on the path the path to strength and health, intelligence and happiness. And most importantly, it will put you on the path to freedom. Does it make sense?
Amazing. Beautiful, sir. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's really nice. I listened to this for quite a few times. You know, when they put this on the web, I think that was in the YouTube or something like that. Yeah, it's really nice. I said, wow, yeah, it really applies to me, and it's all right. Yeah, because we are making our own self, right? Nobody can tell you what needs to be done by you because that's your life. That's why you have to discipline yourself so that you will not hurt somebody. You will not hurt anybody around you. So it's a matter of discipline. Do the right thing.
Wow.
Yes,
So I think
I think
before
I
before your before we ask you for your last advice to especially to the young engineers that who are watching us and who will be watching us in YouTube and and the other platforms later on. Uh, before that, we
yeah.
may again shout out to our engineers who are still watching us. Uh, Good evening, Engineer Francis Kiko Ritazo, another lady engineer, Miss Engineer Lane. I think I forget the Hamelo. Engineer Hamelo is also watching with us. Another lady engineer, young engineer, and also Sir Engineer Mario Sekio, no? Sekio. So good evening, Sir.
TKO.
Sekio, Sekio.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody. Good evening,
He's
Mario.
watching
Hmm.
right now also, sir, sa Facebook Live.
All right.
Yeah, so thank you for staying with us. And now let us ask Sir
Conclusion.
Cesar for some few advice for our young engineers and for everyone before we end the episode tonight.
All right. Before I go, I thank you so much for the people who's watching us.
And also,
Thank you
sir,
guys
please
and
invite
good
them for
evening.
our BGMM.
Oh yeah, of course. And also, yeah, before I forget, also, yeah, I don't need to be told. Supposed to be, I should be inviting everybody to join us to our VGMM 2021, right? Right, Bonnie? This
Yes,
is
sir.
2021
September
VGMM
18,
or
Saturday.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I'm already enrolled for that. I mean, I already registered to that.
Thank you,
So,
sir. Thank you.
uh, yeah, so I
And
will just
hopefully,
gonna
sir,
meet one of you guys to
hopefully,
pay
sir,
for
you
my
join
tea.
us again in the board of directors for PSME Panay.
Yeah, hopefully also after this COVID, maybe we'll get together.
Okay.
you know, you know, I miss the company of our group. So we'll see you guys again next time when everything go back to normal. Okay, so I think I have to conclude
Yeah,
our
your
podcast
last
for
words,
tonight,
sir.
right?
Your last words for everyone regarding our topic. What advices can you
Okay.
give
I
to all
know.
of
Yeah. Okay. I know not everybody have a chance to go to United States, and I understand that it's very hard. You need to have some kind of relatives or a family to start with. But starting from here, applying for zero, no, I think it's very impossible. It's really way very impossible. So it's really nice up there. I suggest the country that you can compete is the United States without prejudice.
Okay.
You know why sometimes some people have think that they are being prejudiced or let's say being discriminated because of themselves also. They're showing lack of discipline to themselves. They're showing like they don't have any clue.
Mhm.
So Americans know that. Then they will abuse you.
Mhm.
First thing first, they'll imitate your accent to embarrass you.
Okay.
Because of course, who has no accent, right? That is not our language. That is English is a second language. You cannot force me to speak the same way you speak, right?
Mhm.
But I try my best. I could not be the same, but at least closer, right? So that's one problem that we have is to go to the United States. Just like what I said, professional. Even though our profession is not recognized there, but you still have a lot of chance because everybody there, employer, they train you. It's like, it's really against my will about this CPD.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really don't like that. It's the way I look at it. It's another way of scam or corruption. Because like let's say you work, Bunny, you work in GBP, right? You work in like power plant, right?
Yes, sir.
most of the time, most of the time, or all the time, you're exposed in the power units. And now here comes the the what they call that CPD training have for refrigeration,
Mhm.
and you need to go there because just to get the points to have a CPD. Does
Mhm.
it make sense? It doesn't apply to your job. Why you have to learn that, right? Because the mentality of our mentality. Once you are not doing that, you will not remember it. It's just like a scam. You just want to go there just because to get the credit out of it, but you are not learning because you don't have interest. That's not what you're working. In the US,
In the
the
US, do they
company that
have
we work,
CPD
like the
points,
G,
sir? Like that system in the US?
what is that?
Do they
The
have
US,
that
this is what they
system?
do. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have, no, no, they don't have a system. This is
The
what they
system,
do.
the
It's like,
CPD
let's say,
point
example.
system, like that. The CPD point
No,
system, do
no,
they
no,
have
no,
that?
they don't
No.
have that. No, no. All they get required you is your engineering license. That's it. And you don't have to do anymore because your employer, let's put it this way, an example is I work in airplanes in Boeing, right? The Boeing is responsible for my education to learn more or new techniques, how to build the airplane safely. So that's the responsibility of Boeing. So they will send me to my skills in aviation. They will not send me skills to learn power plants. They will not gonna send me there because that's not my job. I will be in Boeing for 25 years. Come on, guy. Why I have to learn the refrigeration, air conditioning, the other side? It doesn't make sense, right? You should be,
Wow.
your company should be sending you to the to the skills that the company will will uh, will use
Mhm.
to improve the company. That's like your power plant. You have to go to more education, learning more techniques, how to make your company build better, or make better, or produce better. In not
Wow.
going to another, as like water pumps. Going to the, what is that, man?
I think we
It's
have to
just a
talk.
waste of time. So people,
We have to open that up. That concern. We have to open
yeah,
that up
please,
when
yeah,
we
you
meet together and when we
go there because
go
it's
further
about,
in PSME. That's why we'll surely need your inputs
yeah,
on
it
the
doesn't make
suggestions.
sense, CPD.
Wow.
But you know what?
So
But
yeah.
you know, I hear
So we will
there's
surely
another one.
we will surely schedule another session with you, sir, if you're still willing to share some of your time, your wisdom to PSME
Okay,
in the next episode,
just
sir. We
text me or
will
just message me.
especially
As, uh,
the Boeing process,
yeah, if we
whether we are in the power plant or in the
sure.
in whatever industry, we will need to have
Yeah,
the just in time system, the JIT, the just in time, like
oh,
that.
yeah,
In Boeing,
jet.
I
Yeah, we call that
know
jet.
they
That's
practice that.
actually the jet.
Yeah. So we will surely invite you again, sir, for another uh, episode
Okay.
of
Okay.
podcast for another topic. I would
Yeah.
just like to read the comment of our dear president of PSME Panay, Sir Engineer Jeriel Militar. He mentioned here, he commented, I agree with Engineer Bordon. The problem with discipline in our country stems from the fact that authorities, both public and private, are not strictly consistent in the implementation of rules and regulations, traffic, littering, parking, peeing in public, etc. It's because personal discipline involves internal and external factors. Wow, thanks for this, Sir Jeriel. Thank you for your insights. And also, I would like to mention Engineer Dayo
You said
Pineda, who is
so.
also watching us now. And until now, Engineer Lad Tihada is still with us. And she commented, that's nice, Engineer. So, wow. And for with that, and we would like, in behalf of the Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers Panay chapter, we would like to thank Engineer Cezar Bordon, the person who spent most of his life in the US. And because the United States plays a very big role in the fight for freedom and peace all throughout the world. I believe that while serving the United States, you were all the time that you were there, you were also serving the Filipino people in order to serve in, and not just the Filipino people but all the people of the world, in order to preserve peace and to preserve freedom. And we thank you for that. And also we thank you for the time that you spent with us tonight, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your insights regarding discipline for mechanical engineers. So we look forward to have you again, sir, in this channel of ours, in this podcast for mechanical engineers. So, Sir Cesar, thank you
Sure.
once again.
You're almost welcome.
Okay, so
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
yeah, thank you very much. So again, this episode has been brought to us by the House of Ecolife, Iloilo Roastery Plus Cafe. They have an office at Harrow, Iloilo City, and also this has been brought to us by the Iloilo New Agri Industrial Marketing and General Services Incorporated. They have an office at Lawaan Village, Barangay Balantang, Haro, Iloilo City. Thank you very much once again, fellow mechanical engineers, for joining us up to this time. And we look forward to have more episodes of this for this podcast. And for those who are watching us via Facebook Live, thank you very much. This episode will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. We invite you to please subscribe also to the PSME Panay YouTube channel, so that we can always go back for, to the points, to the important portions of this podcast. So once again, thank you very much and see you in the next episode. Sir Cesar.